What up, Marsh Pod? We are recording this New Year's Eve. By the time you listen to this, it'll be the New Year, so Happy New Year. Hope everyone had a phenomenal holiday season. We spent the holidays, or at least the Christmas holiday, in Puerto Rico. Quasi-international trip for it. We'll get to that. We can do a little story time at the end. But first, foremost, new year, new 24/7 rankings, which means SimWorld stock updates. We're doing pretty decent. We'll get into the nitty gritty here. But as it stands currently, as we look at unrealized returns, we did make some sales, made some purchases as well. But right now, with the stock holdings that we have in the bank, we are up $45,000 on things that are not realized. So still holding on to some of them because there's nowhere, they're at their bottom. There's nowhere else for them to go. And then some that we think we can go up. So sitting in our account, we're up $45K. Did make some sales. We're currently up $16,000 on sales made today alone. So feeling pretty good. Let's just dive in. Let's go. We're going to go winners, some things that we lost, and then some updates on purchases that we made, and then lastly, some lessons learned. So start with the winners, and this is as many as we could get to reasonably. First up, and we're just going to go in order. This is not based off the value. We're just going down the rankings. Kevon Jackson, we're up $500 on him. I'm going to hold on to my stock. He's sitting at 6. If he moves up to number 5, one spot, that's all he needs to go. We'll see that stock go up $10 per piece. So we're up $500 on Kevon Jackson, like where we're at. D'Angelo Jordan, we're up $1,100 on. My only regret right now is I didn't buy more than the 55 that I should have. Knew he was going to be great. Had been talking about it all this time. He sits at number 7, and so with that, I'm taking my $1,100 and I'm actually reinvesting. I'm buying 15 more stocks, so I've got 70 stocks of D'Angelo Jordan. Total invested is $5,200. So wish if I could do that one over, because we bought D'Angelo Jordan. He was at the 16 to 20, which is $70 per stock. I should have done probably 300 of them, which we'll get to more of in the bottom. Number 10, Royce Anderson. I'm up $1,400. I'm going to sell my 35 stocks. I don't know that he can if he can crack the top 5, and that's as high up as he can get for value. And because he's sitting at 10, if he drops 1, we see a lot of that realized gain disappear. So we're selling our 35 Royce Anderson stocks at 10. I'll say this right now. This does not mean that I don't believe in any of these players, right? We're talking purely financial. It's why we don't own any stock of the top 5 guys, because there's no opportunity for more value gained. So this isn't me saying I don't think Royce Anderson isn't higher than that. I'm just saying the likelihood he jumps into the top 5, I don't think is as high as him dropping out of the top 10, so that's why we're selling. Damian Luffy, huge one for us, up $16,000 now that he's sitting at number 9, and I'm actually going to sell here because he can only go up to the top 5, which would only net us about $2,000 more. So I'm gonna get rid of it now. The difference between 16 and 1,800 gain, I just like that one. Why do we do Damian Luffy and Kevon Jackson? We decided to hold under very similar circumstances. The number of stocks and the opportunity of variance just isn't as high. So that's why we're going to dump off of Damian Luffy for $16,000. Justin Bell, we're up $4,500 on my 200 stocks. Remember, we bought 150 of his when he dropped in the rankings. I actually think he's underranked at number 14, so I'm going to hold on to that 200 stock until he cracks the top 10. Number 15, Corey Yams. We're up $8,000 total. We're up $2,000 since the last update on November 20th when he made a pretty good leap. So we're going to hold here. Same thing that we like with Justin Bell. Yeah, there's the chance for Yams to drop a little bit. All things considered, you look at the Hoopers, no coach, or at least a new coach again. I still like everything that Corey Yams has been doing. I still think he can get up into the top 10. And even if he doesn't, we're still up. If he drops down into that 16 to 20 range, we're still up some substantial coin since we got him so low. So I'm going to hold on to that. Tyree Wells, huge one, up $26,000. He's at 16. So I'm going to hold here because if he moves up one more, we can get quite a bit more as he falls into the 10 to 15, or excuse me, the 11 to 15 range, which is obviously what we're hoping for. So holding on to Tyree Wells, but up 26.8 on that one. Incredibly like that one. Number 17, we're up just a little bit, 400 on 20 shares of Alex Rodriguez. Holding on to 75 shares of Monte Parson at 20. We're up 4,500 on that. He's looked good. I think he could get into the top 15. Where are these guys? Like, look, we don't have any shares of Marco Jacobs. We don't have any of Andrei Ivanov. I'm not buying of that, but if you look at these guys, I think there's an opportunity, especially for, and we'll get to them in a second, some of the guys that have fallen and we've lost some money on. I think Monte Parson could actually kind of jump up above them. All right, number 21, Suno Chapa. We're up 6,000 on my 150 shares of Suno. Holding on that, same thing. If he jumps up in the top 20, we get quite a bit more. Up 500 on Samuel Baugus. I'm going to sell. He's at 27. I'm not sure if he can get all the way up. Remember, our range has changed, right? It's 1 through 5, 6 through 10, 11 through 15, 16 through 20. And then, just for simplicity's sake, it's 10 spots for $40, $30, so on. So sitting at 27, he has to get all the way up to 20. I don't think he can do that. I think he's good. He had a great game. I'm not high on Bo Pagnotti. We talked about that on the broadcast. I think he's a decent basketball player. I don't think he's a top 20 player, so we're going to sell up 500. Jermaine Owens, he's sitting at 29. We're going to sell up 600. Same reason. I think there's a better chance he drops down. Go back to the Royce Anderson example. At 29, he's got 2 spots to fall. I think there's a better chance he drops down out of the top 30 than jumps all the way up into the top 20. We're sitting at Bryce James up 1,200. We're going to sell. He's at 30. Same exact reason, 30th ranked, but up 1,200 there. And then Richard Hennessy, up $10,000 on our 400 shares of Richard Hennessy. I'm holding there. He's at 44. It's in that range where I think he could jump up. If he falls out, so be it. Then we're right back to where we started. Hey, then maybe we should sell. I actually think there's some guys ahead of him that he could jump up over at 44. Norman Nations, Tyrell Thompson, Jay Laster hasn't played well. Orvin Caballo has not been elite. I think there's a chance. That's just quick looks. Kai Newby, which is one person I'll get to later on. I think there's a chance for Richard Hennessy to jump up into the top 40 because I believe he's lower ranked. All of this is not me projecting other people. This is me saying, look, I think this is either a fair ranking or an over or an under. I think for some of these guys, Royce Anderson 10's a fair ranking, but if we're thinking financially, we got to sell. Richard Hennessy, I think it's actually a little low. I think he can get up. So financially, maybe you jump out at 10K right now. I'm going to hold on to it because I think he can get into the top 40 because I think he's that good. Some losers. Nas Hall, we're out 600 on my 60 stocks. We bought at 45 when he was in 6 to 10 range. Probably not a great idea at the time to buy when he was there because he wasn't going to get up much higher. Probably should have sold at that point. So I'm selling now. He didn't look great in that last game that he played. What was it? Heartland, I think it was. He just hasn't been efficient right now, so we're going to sell right now and get out of that. He is sitting, as we record this, Nas Hall is 12. Do I think he's going to get all the way back into the top 10? I don't know. I think there's a better chance he could fall. Maybe we buy some stock at that point. Nick Hugo, we've lost $800, but I'm going to hold on to my Nick Hugo stock. There's 20 of them. I think he can get, if he falls out at 26, we don't lose quite a bit much more. So we're just going to hold on to that. It's not a ton of stocks, 20. I think we can get onto that and see if he can jump up just a little bit so we sell at a point where that investment isn't quite as big of a loss. But anyway, if we lose out, $1,800 investment all in. All right, Levin Cutler, he sits at number 11. We've lost 200. I'm going to hold on to my 20 stocks there because if he moves up into the top 10, we get that money back, and then we'd probably sell. It'd be a break even. And if he has any lower ranking, if he was any lower ranking, I probably wouldn't have done anything with it. So we're holding on to those 20. Xavier Pope, we've lost 300, but we're still up 300 because we had been up 6. So I'm going to sell my 30 stocks now. I like being in the green, like making money, so we're going to go up 300. Yeah, we could have gotten a little bit more. He sits at 13. I'm not sure that he gets back in the top 10, but Again, you're looking in that range where we're at 11 through 15. So we're going to sell. Major loss, Johan Novajovic. That cost us $1,500. We're selling that one. He is done for the season. Jay Laster, we're down 1,000 on our 35 stocks. I'm actually going to hold. He's at 40. I think he could pop up if he gets right. He's got maybe the best team in the league, playing inefficient. If he kind of figure it out next to Cooper Flagg, I think he's got a chance to really rise back up. And then three guys, more than three guys, but these are just ones that stood out. Trey Trust, $750. Kasim Porter Jr., $1,700. And Reza Red, $2,000. All of them are out of the top 100. I'm holding their positions for now because I think they can get back, but those are huge losses that are included in that unrealized gains conversation that we had earlier. All right, where are we buying? I'm picking up 35 shares at $50 per stock of Cole Webb. He's been really good for Showtime. I'm actually kind of surprised that he's fallen to where he has. Total vested now is $37.50. Talked about D'Angelo Jordan. Love his upside. I think he can get into the top 5. And if I'm looking at it right now, I think Japheth Towns might be the one with the biggest potential for us to maybe jump him. But D'Angelo Jordan's been phenomenal. And actually, to this point, quick side note, it feels a little bit like our top 5 is just kind of there because it was there to begin with. I don't know that D'Angelo Jordan isn't better than Arthur Lattimore, Trey Hyman, Dylan Harper. I think Cooper Flagg at number 1 is pretty good, and that's not me saying Trey Hyman, Arthur Lattimore, Dylan Harper aren't really good. They are, but D'Angelo Jordan and Kevon Jackson have been phenomenal. I think they've all got a really good case. Damian Luffy, too. Playing good basketball, all of them, obviously. But I don't know. I think what D'Angelo Jordan has been doing right now, man, has been phenomenal. He's got more points than all but the top 3 guys ahead of him. He's shooting the ball well from the floor. If he gets that efficiency up from deep, I think there's a case. That being said, I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with the top 5 as it is, but it almost feels sacrilegious that those 5 are up there with no real pathway out. Again, deserving. That's just the thought of it. All right, Lucas Banks. We're buying 40 shares at $40. He's ranked at 34. I think that's a little low. I think he can get top 30. I think he is top 30. We have 60 shares now total. We had 20 already, so 32 total invested in him. 3,200, that is. Gabe Pope, 35 shares we're picking up. We got 2,300 now invested. He's at 49. That seems way too low for me. Renzo Bryan has dropped to 51. I'm going to pick up 30 stocks there. We've got 105. Look, I believe he can get back up, and I think Queen City Kings can right this ship. And even if he jumps to top 50, we can sell those additional 30 stocks that we got at $10. We're going to see a $20 gain on each of those, and we can get out and kind of fight our way back to even. Pierre DuPont, I'm going to buy up 50 shares at $30 a piece. He's at 48. He's been playing really well as well. SimWorld Africa might not be a spotlight team, but what DuPont is doing is quite impressive. I mean, look, 16 points, 7 boards. If you look at the next highest ranked player averaging 16 points per game, that would be Orvin Caballo, who I talked about earlier, just throwing names out. But he's at 21 points per game. And then the only other 2 guys that you look up in the immediate range, higher ranked, is Jarrell Beauchamp. He's averaging 18.5, and Kai Newby on a bad team, well, not a bad team, but a kind of up and down team at 17 points per game. They're at 33 and 35. So I think there's a real chance for Pierre DuPont to kind of jump up from 48. We're picking up 75 more shares of Akeem Young, $10 per. I don't still know why he's ranked that low. I think he's a very talented basketball player, so we've now got 225. I'm buying 400 more of Kai Killens. This is ridiculous that Kai Killens is ranked 80th in the country. Kai Killens is the best player on a 4-1 team. He's averaging 16 per game. This is easy money for me. I cannot believe that he did not move up at least into the top 50. Kai Killens has been phenomenal in my opinion, so we're picking that up. And look, there's guys ahead of him that are averaging 5 points, 4 points, 2.8 points per game. I mean, Isaiah James at 67, and I know that wouldn't make us any money, but you cannot tell me Kai Killens at 80 is worse than 40 guys on that list. Not ranked is Dink Paint and Bonde Thunda, so I'm picking up 600 of each of them. And then at 62, I'm picking up 150 shares of Carson Cupberth. If he jumps into the top 50, we can sell all 300 and we can make quite a bit. Glad I stayed away. Kai Newby, one of them, he's dropped all the way to 35. That's just, I stayed away from him early on. That's really the only lesson learned there. It's not saying he's not good, but he's just wouldn't have made us any money, would have cost us quite a bit. And then lessons learned. Look, buying in the top 10 might be the barrier of entry. We had said top 5. I think it might have been top 15, even top 10, top 15. It's tough to make money at that rate. So quick lessons learned there. Should have bought more, should have bought less in the 30 to 50 range. We talked about those 3 guys, Trey Trust, Kasim Porter Jr., Reza Red. Some other sizable losses. Isaiah James, we're down 2,000. Renzo Bryant, we're out 3,000 before the purchase. Those are just guys that fell from, we're in the 31 to 40 range. They're all the way back now to being either in the $10 range or further. So that's just the quick example there of what we probably could have done a better job of. And then the last piece, I probably should have bought up more stocks in the 51 to 100 range. Those guys have been, it's just more volatility there, but you've got a better chance to make money. You look at Tyree Wells, like I said, Richard Hennessy, Suno Chapa, and Monte Parson. Those are our big winners, right? That's 26K, 10K from Hennessy, 6K from Chapa, 4,500 from Parson. Those guys make any type of a jump, like Damian Luffy, for example, did. Then you get a ton of buybacks. So like Orlin Mock, we've got 100 of. If he gets into the top 50, we can make that money up pretty quick. We're running along, so we're going to hold the Puerto Rico story until maybe next week. But that's our SimWorld stock update. We are sitting pretty. Based off our sales of this week, we are up 16K, as we said earlier, and are unrealized at 45. So not doing too shabby, and we will talk to you next Monday, or we got 3 games that we're traveling to, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 7 p.m., so we'll talk to you on those as well.